Hello, everyone, and welcome to Malts and Meeples. Of course, I failed to have that set up correctly, but you can see I have a big game sitting next to me. So, first off, I apologize probably for my voice throughout this, and definitely for the fact that I will be coughing throughout this. We are teaching our kid to share, and he decided to share his cold. Not the ideal. Not the ideal thing to share. But uh, I guess first things first, that's why I didn't stream on Saturday. On Saturday was the day that it hit me hard, that I was out of it. Now I'm basically just down to kind of a scratchy throat and a little bit of a cough. And the nice thing is, took a strep test, took COVID test, neither of those. So it's just a really annoying cold. Hopefully I can get through it fairly quickly. But there we go. So I'm just drinking sparkling water today. Something that's not going to bug my throat too much or like mess with my rest patterns or anything like that. I'll be back to drinking probably a gin and tonic for the next Isofarian Guard coming up here in a couple days. And I do want to get that Saturday stream in, or maybe it'll just be a bonus stream some day of the week when I don't have something going on. My wife does have something going on. It'll be a chance for me to just sit down and stream then. FedEx is telling me about a new board game coming. I know, Fatal. You're here only for the alcohol talk. It's rough without that. But yeah, that FedEx notification was for Valor and Villainy. That's coming, so I'm excited for that. But here today, we're here for the Isofarian Guard. This is a stupidly big box in a great way. And it was really, really a good price. So I put up an article recently on like kind of why, hyping up the games that I have coming in from Kickstarter. Because I think fairly often, let's see if I need that again. I think fairly often there's kind of this desire to find the next hot game on Kickstarter, crowdfunding, so get Kickstarter Game Found, back it, and by the time the game comes in, you've kind of forgotten about it. So I want to start calling out more of these games that are coming in that I'm really hyped for, because honestly, I don't back a game unless I'm really hyped for it. At least one that's this size. Some of the smaller ones I'm like, oh, that looks intriguing, I'm going to take a chance on it. And my excitement level might be a little bit lower. But if I put down good money, like I did for this game, I'm going to stay hyped for it. I have to really be convinced that this is a game I want to back. And if I'm not, I might back it originally, and then I'm going to drop my pledge down. Well, let's see what is in this behemoth. So let's get the behemoth off the table first. So first things first, we have a whole mess of foam here. And I'm actually going to keep this around because I've heard that they built the storage solution for the cards to be sleeved. And if that's the case, then I need something to pad those spots with, because I don't have the sleeves for the cards. I don't sleeve cards generally, so there's that. Okay. the next step, right? Look at this, going, okay, how am I going to get this out of the box? Because it is one giant box in that giant box. Let's get the top cam going here, because this is impressive. I know people have talked a little bit, which doesn't shock me. Like, I have a tiny bit of tear here at the bottom corner. I've seen people with more. Like, I really just had that one bottom corner with that, which, I mean, this is, wait, is this tape closed or something? Or is this just, nope, it's not. Or is this just massive? The answer is this is just massive. So it's tough to take off. They actually did a really good job. This is very thick cardboard, but it is still just cardboard. First time setup. I would prefer if this was how to put this back into the box, because I'm going to switch back to the other camera. I've heard that this is the case. This bows a little bit, but we have all of that in there. That's about 38 pounds worth of stuff. Start out here. Desiccant patch. Keep it dry. Appreciate that. I will not eat it. And then giant character boards. I'm not sure. These might be the first two characters, I'm assuming, that you play as. Let's pop these up and take a closer look. And I will go back to the top-down view for this. And drink some more sparkling water. Okay, so it's doing a... do I even want to know? So it looks like you can save some cards under there. There's this tray for something. And we have one of our starting characters, but it's like it's like a Tainted Grail, where they were like, okay, we only need this one character board. I wish there was something on the back of this, maybe a little bit of story, history of that one character, something like that. I know there's so much story in this game, you don't really need that. But nice dual layer boards here. Little bit of warping going on, but not bad. Nothing that I wouldn't expect from something that massive. I'm assuming this is identical. So I'm assuming this is just for the player boards. Now, like I said, this is a solo game, but there are two characters you're always playing at a time. it is kind of controlled as a group versus like individual characters, but it would be a way to play multiplayer if you wanted. I already have seen on a Board Game Geek that a lot of people are liking this as a 2-player game. Well, not a lot of people. Let me take that back. In the recommended player counts, 2 players is on there, even though this is a solo game. I'm going to try and avoid spoilers. Oh, did a nice job. Or just can't. So we have our big map over here. Just gonna quickly show the back there. This, I think, is going to be the side that you spend more of your time on. This is a huge map, traveling from different location to different location. Some interesting sorts of locations: ice caves, circle of seers, frozen wastes, Silney. I believe this is the capital. Or is that down here at the bottom, which you can't see? Rasdor. We have Mir, Stropha, Vono. Temple of Wall, Fort Istra, Forgotten Tower, Ribia, Fort Straz. Yeah. And I'm assuming there are paths. It shows you everywhere you can go. Interestingly enough, like, you can sail, it looks like. So you could sail from here to here instead of having to walk around, for example, if you wanted. That's pretty cool. Then, I'm assuming this whole stack here should all be identical enemy boards. So, good news is your enemies could have up to 109 life. Probably more. But I hope not more, because that would be a lot of work. Though, maybe you start dealing enough damage. I don't remember how this works. But I'm going to be curious with that. And then we have... Let me adjust this. Okay, so Fort Istra, we are not going to touch this because each of these locations here, like the blacksmith, I could pop that out. So I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but I'm going to leave it as is right now until I know otherwise. Secret location on the back. Because maybe it starts out that this is completely empty. This is the fort area that this group of characters builds up, excuse me. And so I just pop this. Wow. I pop this out. So opening up a new board game, there's definitely dust and whatever smells from the factory, the packing, and everything that does not help the whole cough situation. But like I was saying, it's very possible that these start off the board, and when you pop them out, it's just the land underneath, and you do certain things to get them. And I'll go through and show off basically all of these. Mir, Stropha, Riva, Rasdor. So you can come into these towns, Silni, Fort Stras, and you have these spots to interact, like these ones here, and then when you exit out one of those sides, but you'll go there and you'll have certain bits of story. Ice caves, frozen waste, the abyss. Oh, that sounds nice. Forgotten Tower, okay. Vonu and Circle of Seers. I am, like, you probably noticed I went quickly over a couple of those. They're all out in the open. They're not sealed away behind anything, so probably not going to be a spoiler too much on there. And so I think, but I still don't want to give it away too much. If you're just watching this, they flash up on the screen and you can look or not look. If you really want to see it, you can pause. So Lux, going to be our magic, I believe. And Sil, going to be our money. This one's really nice and tight. This one's a little bit looser, but not bad. Let's meet the rest of the cast of characters. Yana, Vera, Karzan, Pavel, Catherine, and Yuri. Oh, and Dunamis. I'm like, I maybe should have looked to make sure I wasn't accidentally revealing anything, but too late now. Nice cube holders. These all kind of mixed together a little bit, but looks like probably gems in the middle, green and black. I'm like, this is never going to go up on its side, so that's going to make it easy. Let's get everything packed back in. Normally I'd be like, oh yeah, we'll put it back in later, but this one feels... Well, first off, you have to actually remember to put everything back in. That wasn't too hard to get back in. So here's an interesting thing. We have materials of Isofar. And books of Isofar. The books of Isofar is going to be your main weight. And then your packing of Isofar. And additional packing of Isofar. And even a little bit more packing of Isofar to make everything fit in properly. We'll get to that eventually. But the card holder, our nice little dividers here. Let's look at these. Accessories, armor, enemy drops, harvesting items, mining, speaking stones, weapons. So I'm assuming that it's easy enough to identify what these are, which I think most of them have matching symbols to make it easy. So it's just going to be a matter of throwing in the dividers, and you can see like this has a lot of room. That's definitely for if you have sleeves. But I've heard that you don't actually shuffle or do that much with those small cards, which makes me kind of be like, well, I don't feel too bad about not getting sleeves. We are going to open this box. We're probably not going to open up the books. But Isofarian Guard is a chip pulling game. So they were kind enough to give 3 bags for the chips. I'm assuming each one has a specific thing. So we have turns here. Combat icons. So this is kind of your little cheat sheet for a number of things. Then you have your full rule book here. I would say it's a lot of text, but it's pretty big text. Tells you how to save your progress. One interesting thing is, and you can play at different modes. So like difficulty, standard modes, everything is printed. Story mode, decrease enemy stats for all the battles, defense -1. Ins restore hit points and remove all negative chips from the guard's bags. Narrative events do not have to be started from the beginning if the guards fall in battle. So increase, and then you can't retreat from any battle. And then it's nice. I like it when rule books do this. It might be hard to see at the bottom here, but conflicting rules. So the campaign book trumps the cards. The cards trump the rule book. So the rules lay out basically how everything is going to work unless something specifically says otherwise. Reference book. So it's like details on the chips, guard keywords. So more details, a fair amount of FAQ, which icon glossary I like, and a small map. I kind of like FAQs, but I always kind of wonder, okay, if you have an FAQ, why isn't it part of the rules? Are these just consistent questions that come up as people are learning the game? If so, why aren't they part of the rules that you can play? So we have our various campaigns. Campaign 5. Indexes and quests. I'm not going to open any of those right now. I'm going to make them as noisy as possible. I'm not going to open up any of them just because that's where I kind of suspect spoilers would come in the most. So, this is tricky. Set the phone down here for right now and pull out this one. Heavy. Oh, so heavy. More cards. So field events, enemies, and abilities. And we have all our dividers here. This one is campaign boss separators. Don't open until instructed. Yep, we won't. So, I'm not going to actually open up all these cards. I'm going to open up the second box here so you can see the importance of this second box. Doesn't want to open. It's jammed down on itself from the weight of the other boxes on it. Sorry, I haven't moved the mouse in a bit. That was all the Discord messages coming through at once. So what's in this box, you might ask? Nothing. This cardboard here helps support this box enough that it doesn't crush in on itself. It is meant to hold these cards if you have sleeves for them. I don't have sleeves for them, so I really only needed this singular version of this. I'm going to leave these guys here only because we're getting down to it. We're going to save those for last, actually, the miniatures. There's so many elements of this game that are heavy. Such as all of these poker chips. Let's do the stack. Need the knife again. Then pop. Bust it in. Like these are up there with chip theory poker chips. Just have that nice heft and noise to them. Really, it's that noise. Here, let's do that from the other angle. Hopefully that lined up pretty well. Otherwise, that's going to be really annoying to some people. But that's a lot of chips. That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 120. So 240 chips total. You know, like nice chips are not cheap. So 240 chips total. I'm trying to think, like a nice set of chips. I wonder what excuse me. I wonder what singular chips cost. This is something I do not know off the top of my head. But like a really nice weighted set of poker chips with case, how much does that cost? Like the clays. These are not clays, but let's look at our guys here. So, one thing to note, they are not connected to the base, which is intentional. This is done for painters you can, if you're not going to paint it, I'm not sure that I will, you can always just glue them in. They also do stick in pretty well. Here, so we have a spellcaster with her staff, which is very thin, so definitely has bend to it. We have this dude over on this side with his hammer. These are all duos, except for the secret, not so secret, fifth one. And then we're just going to keep that one hidden away. These are nice duo sculpts. Active positions, for the most part. And only some confusion on my behalf as to how they fit in their respective slots. Definitely not that. So I would think that. I mean, it will fit. So we have all of them there. And you get the lid back on here. Only 5 miniatures in this game, so this is not really a miniatures game. Most of your, like, you saw we had for those 5 different characters. So the 3 campaigns and the secret finale, or not so secret finale. And I'm a little bit torn on what I think about them not hiding that secret finale a little bit more. Also, I'm torn on what I think about, like, you kind of need to keep that foam. So there's the foam that I'm planning to use from the actual packing container itself for the cards, because that way I can have both my field events and field and enemies and abilities, both of those can be full. We have this, and then I'm trying to remember, I think we had a piece of foam here so that we don't scratch up anything, which I appreciate for in shipping. And I'm actually going to just look at this. The first time setup basically tells you then to, like, how you can get into it. So rule book and campaign book 1, or they have a tutorial, like a video tutorial over on their website. Then you find some things, and then this backside is just about the Foreteller app that handles the story. Foreteller is making bank right now with... Okay, maybe that one doesn't go there, because all I'm doing is squishing it up. I mean, it does, but is it worth... It's not worth trying to put that one back in. Nor is it really needed. Like, this bows a little bit already. Just looking at the shape that this box itself is in. First off, there's artwork around the hole on the outside, which is nice. There's a little bit right here, excuse me, that is, wow, that was the wrong thing, dinged, but that's very minor. So, like, compared to what I've seen some other boxes look like, I got one that is in as pristine condition as I could hope for. Now, I have to find a spot for this on a shelf. I believe, just due to like some last second production things, that a decision was made to increase the size of this box, potentially by the production side of things versus the Sky Kingdoms games. And because of that, it doesn't fit in a calyx square. I think it's too wide to fit in a calyx square, which means I can't just drop it in a cubby. I do have a spot excuse me, with some other games that I can move and stick it on there, because this is not one that I want to hoist up to a top of a calyx and have to take down every time. Part of me just wants to find a spot on the floor to be able to keep it, honestly. But yeah, it is a big game, that's for sure. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was a fun unboxing to kind of see what all comes in the Isofarian Guard box. Like I said, this was a really good price when it was on Kickstarter, and the more that they added to it and the more like time that went by, like this is a pretty delayed or just slow Kickstarter, and because of that, they did come back and ask for some additional funds for shipping, but because of that, the price of the game itself, I mean, they have to be making no money off of this first version of it. I hope they come back to Kickstarter. I hope this is a wonderful game that does really well, because it looks massive and epic, and I want to dig into it. That's going to wait until I've played more ISS Vanguard, but I'm excited for this one. Might be a little bit hard to tell tonight, just because I can't talk too excitedly, and my voice is a little bit starting to fade because of that stupid cough you keep on hearing. But hopefully that will be gone soon. With that, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was fun. I'm pretty sure I already said that once before, but if you want to know when I go live, if you want to know when I put out content, easiest way is to subscribe and click that notification bell. That's going to let you know when I have videos coming out. Generally though, Mondays at 8:30 p.m., like today, Central Time, I'm going to do something like an unboxing, or more often than not, play a smaller roll and write game or smaller solo game on stream and just kind of have a chance to chat. And then on Wednesdays is my bigger campaign stream, and that currently has been going through ISS Vanguard. We've gone kind of through the tutorial planet, then like the tutorial space or like ship phase. Now we've gone through an additional planet and additional ship phase, though both of those you do have to do as well in a specific order. So kind of those 4 pieces of tutorial. Now we're venturing off somewhere that we really chose ourselves. So come check that out on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. If you enjoy this content that I do and want to check out some of the other stuff that I do, you can find links for that down below. The big thing is nerdologists.com, where I write nerdy articles every day. But then also every Tuesday, I come out with a podcast, myself and a friend host 10-Minute Marvel. It's a 30-minute long podcast. Used to be 10 minutes. Name's just not changing. About Marvel stuff. Comics, MCU, mainly MCU. But we dig into the stories, the bits of news that are out there. And of course, with this week being the week that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out, this episode is kind of talking about what we hope for that. So that's going to be coming out tomorrow if you want to check that out. But with that, it's not quite the same as normal, but bottoms up.